What is up, Buck? Doug Woodini in the garage. We've got the first news video of 2022 ready for you right now. Let's talk today about how Chrysler is coming back from the dead. Speaking of dead vehicles, we have some zombie cars popping up everywhere. We got to talk about that. Ford is making a serious go of it. Carvana's goose is cooked. We have the Marketeer of the Year award and several other news stories that I forget I researched but are in my notes and we will touch on in just a second. First up, Kia has changed their name officially from Kia, K-I-A, to K backwards N. I assume this is an attempt by the Korean automaker to distance itself from its own cars. The issue is it doesn't make any sense. A good logo should be a lot of things, but number one on that list is clear and concise. It should tell people what brand it represents. Most people, when they first see this new Kia logo, they think there's a new car brand called KM Cars. I did. I literally saw one on the road. It was on one of their weird boxy crossover micro SUV things. I was like, what the heck is KM Cars? Who makes that? Either that, I thought maybe it was like a vanity decal somebody had. Now, the ire of 1,000 Karens aside, I get why Kia did this. They have a reputation that we're actually going to talk about more at the end of this video, but I think this was a new year, new me thing. The issue is you took off your glasses, but now they won't let you into the prom because no one recognizes that you are in fact a car that goes to this school. Moving on. Carvana is in some hot water. If you don't know, Carvana is essentially a car vending machine service. It's this giant building-sized vending machine, and while I've never personally bought a car this way, my understanding is you literally buy a car the way you would buy a Mars bar from a vending machine. What could go wrong? Well, the company could forget to file the paperwork for you that says you actually own the vehicle you just bought out of their vending machine. That's right, a number of states have raised issues with Carvana that says they're not properly filing the title paperwork. So people are quote-unquote buying these cars out of their miracle modern vending machine, and a number of months down the line they still have temporary plates on them and they don't actually own the vehicle. Not great. Outside of buying a home, paying for college, or filling your tank in 2022, a car is likely one of the largest purchases most of us are going to make. Go to a dealership, get some human help. Save the vending machine for your Diet Dr. Pepper. Moving on from a company that's kind of forking it up to a company that's absolutely killing it. Even I can't find something negative to say. Ford Motor Company. Everything is coming up tens for Ford Motor Company. Their stock is outselling Tesla. It's a pretty big deal when you think about it. Tesla, kind of those guys. Ford Bronco is a smashing success. It's everything they hoped it would be. It's the on-road gentleman, off-road animal Jeep antagonist that Ford needed. The Mach-E. 10 out of 10, everything they would hoped it would be. It is a proper, quick, sexy, well-made Tesla antagonist. The Ford Lightning all-electric pickup truck that we covered in our last news segment is creating some serious buzz. It is absolutely poised to rethink the way we think about electric trucks, move over electric Hummers and Rivians and Cybertrucks. Ford is absolutely here to stay. And if you think about it, they created this success by basically looking out into the market, seeing what worked, and then doing that. Other automakers, this is how you're successful. They looked over the fence into Tesla's yard and they said, hey, those are selling well. Let's make one of those. And they looked over the other fence into Jeep's yard and they saw the Wrangler and they said, that's selling well. Let's make some of those. And then they opened literally any automotive publication and said, this electric vehicle thing is kind of catching on. Maybe we should make a pickup truck. Why so many other auto manufacturers can't figure out the make what people want and they will buy it model, but Ford, congratulations. All sass and satire aside, Ford, I'm happy for you. I'm proud to call you an American company. I wish that other American brands could be doing so well right now. I wish you all the luck in the world in 2022. It's a beautiful thing. Let's move on to zombie cars. What is a zombie car? Well, it's not exactly news that there is a global chip shortage preventing people from making new things. There is a global logistics crisis preventing goods from moving around the world, and that is creating some interesting scenarios. And one of those scenarios is the zombie car phenomenon. In 2021, Dodge sold 4 new Dodge Vipers. In 2021, Dodge sold 4 new Dodge Vipers. If you're not a Dodge fan, that may make sense to you. Sure, they only sold 4, that's a bummer. Anybody who's a Mopar fan is saying, how did they sell 4 new Dodge Vipers in 2021 if the Dodge Viper hasn't been made since 2017? They also sold 10 Dodge Darts. Toyota sold a new FJ Cruiser in 2021. It was a 2014. That's the last time those were made. These are zombie vehicles. They're new vehicles. They were never formally sold off a lot. They've been bumming around. Maybe a salesperson or a service tech was driving them. Maybe they got lost in the back of the lot, parked behind a shed. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Dodge had so few cars to sell. The 4 guys who came on the lot and bought Vipers were probably trying to buy Hellcats. Didn't have any. What do you got? Well, there's a Viper parked there. It's been there for about 6 years. You want it? Sure. It isn't just Dodge and Toyota. Jeep sold some new Patriots in 2020. That made a Jalopnik news story a few months ago. And across the board, automakers are doing whatever they can to continue to sell vehicles. If you own a dealership and somebody walks in your door wanting to buy a new car, come hell or high water, you're gonna find something to sell them, all right? That is not an easy industry to be in. You are not gonna let them leave your dealership and go across the street over a matter as trivial as I don't have what you're looking for. Now, get to do something that I don't often get to do during these news segments. We're gonna talk about Chrysler, and I don't mean Chrysler as in FCA, I mean Chrysler as in the specific car brand, Chrysler. If you don't know, you should. Chrysler has been on an incredibly inauspicious fall from grace, since the 90s? When was the last time Chrysler really made something anybody wanted, except for that brief time around 2008 when everybody had to have a Chrysler 300 because they thought it looked like a Bentley. FCA found something to do with Chrysler, and I am tickled pink? That sounds like a weird thing. Tickled to death to be able to tell you about it. Chrysler is going to be the all-electric brand. Most auto brands are integrating electric directly into their main lines, their main nameplates, and I think the purpose is they want a strong electric showing. They think that that is the cutting edge. They're not necessarily wrong. I just don't know that it's always going to be the cutting edge. But I personally believe that separation is a much better way to do it. I love what Chrysler's doing. It doesn't pervert any existing nameplates or brands, and it makes it easier. If you know, going forward, if you're talking about a Chrysler, you're talking about an electric vehicle. I think that makes sense. Moving on, let's talk a little bit more about Kia and Hyundai. They're actually having some pretty big problems. Kia's from 2011 to 2016, oh boy, major issues with engine failures and engine fires. I guess the issue is sparking from the lubrication system. Oil is not able to move through the engines properly. This creates an engine failure situation or an engine fire situation. So go ahead and park all your 2011 to 2016 Kia and Hyundais next to your Chevy Bolt. I just pray that they are not parked in your garage, because that garage is going to burn down. There are a number of recalls on this, but I guess the issue is just now being realized exactly how large of an issue it is. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because I'm seeing more and more Kias and Hyundais on the road, and it bothers me that I don't feel they have a realistic reputation in the automotive industry. I have owned Hyundais. I've never owned a Kia, but they're the same thing for all intents and purposes. And the reality is, this is how these two South Korean automakers build a car. They take their budget, whatever it is. I don't think it was a lot. They put 90% of it into a motor. The remaining 10% has to cover everything else. Development, manufacture, marketing, everything. Korean cars are cheaply made. They have reasonably good motors, but the rest of the car is absolute crap. They fold in half. They might as well be made of tin and used toothpicks. I had an 05 Elantra. I rear-ended a town car doing 25 miles an hour. The town car literally didn't even have a scratch on the bumper. My motor was in my lap. That car was totaled. Crap cars. And it seems now even the motors are not holding up. When I say crappy car, all I mean is, and I alluded to this at the beginning of the video, they are disposable cars. There is value in something cheap that is not built to last millennia, because people need those cars too. If you drive or even enjoy a Kia or a Hyundai, good for you. All I'm saying is that if you're looking for something more substantial, again, that won't catch your garage on fire, maybe look into a Ford. Or something from an auto brand that clearly has their stuff together. Kia and Hyundai are just not there yet. Moving on to something fun. The Marketeer of the Year award is something I'm starting right now. It's going out to someone over at Mazda. Let's do the backstory. Mazda released its first battery electric vehicle, the MX-30. It's a little crossover. It doesn't really stand out aesthetically. It looks like every other partial hybrid electric, plug-in hybrid electric, battery electric vehicle. Going today, where it stands out is in its range, but unfortunately it stands out in the wrong direction. At 130-mile range for a battery electric vehicle, which means at 131 miles, you are SOL. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not stop at a gas station. It's not going to help you because you don't have an internal combustion engine. You only have that battery, and that battery is dead. You are walking, my friend. That's not why they're getting the Marketeer of the Year award. Their response when the public complained and said, hey, that fancy new MX-30 kind of sucks. What did Mazda say? It isn't so bad as long as you own another car. Nailed it, Mazda. Now, that justification is fine if the first car you're talking about is a Corvette or a Porsche or a Hellcat or an F450, something wildly impractical to be a daily driver commuter. Well, yeah, you bought the supercharged Jeep Grand Cherokee. You're not supposed to take that to ShopRite to get groceries. You take your MX-30. That's the commuter car. If your first car is an MX-30, it'd be kind of silly that you were told you need to buy a commuter car as well. Needless to say, Mazda is just doing everything they can to further fall into oblivion. Raise your hand if you even knew the MX-30 existed. Let me know down there in the squawk boxes. Have you ever heard of the MX-30 before today? I'm guessing you didn't. Mazda, that's a problem. People need to hear about your vehicles if they want to sell them. For them to hear about them, they need to be worth hearing about. Your MX-30 is not. Moving on. You let me know down there in the squawk boxes, which of these stories really drew your ire? Which of them do you think I'm way off base? And which one do you think I hit the nail on the head? Leave a comment down there in the squawk boxes if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.